What's going on, guys? I'm Chris and welcome back to another video. So today I'm giving you my review of Avatar: The Way of Water, the long-awaited sequel to 2009's Avatar. James Cameron finally back in the director's chair, taking us back into the world of Pandora. But is this movie great? How does it compare to the first? Does it live up to the hype? I'll let you guys know here in a second. Before I do, be sure to hit that like button. Comment down below your thoughts on Avatar: The Way of Water or your expectations for the movie if you have not yet seen it. Subscribe and hit that notification bell to be notified for all of my future reviews, rankings, reactions, all that good stuff. So I rewatched the first Avatar for the first time in over a decade the other day in preparation for this. You can check out my thoughts on the first Avatar up above, but spoiler alert, I wasn't really a big fan of that movie, and I had a lot of concerns coming into The Way of Water, and unfortunately, this movie just didn't do it for me a lot like the first. Now I'm gonna go ahead and state the obvious. The visual effects here are stunning, just like in the first movie, but this movie is 10 times more visually impressive than the first. Frankly, it's an accomplishment. The first Avatar movie is always praised as being the most visually stunning movie of all time, and this, again, ups the ante. There's gorgeous water sequences, and it honestly blows my mind. I was able to see the movie in Dolby 3D, and I'm not a huge 3D fan, but seeing it in 3D made it look even more crystal clear, high def, and I was honestly just stunned with how immersive this movie was, because I thought the first movie was immersive, and this one just dives further into the lore of Pandora, exploring different parts of the planet, and really giving us more gorgeous landscapes. It was really beautiful to witness. Like, if you're a die-hard fan of the first Avatar, you should probably see this movie in 3D, because it honestly blew me away from someone who's not a big 3D person. It almost allowed me to step into the screen, and again, I'm not an advocate for 3D, but if you have the opportunity to, and you're a big Avatar fan, I think it's probably worth it. The score is also fantastic here, just like in the first movie, but again, once you get past the fact that the visuals are groundbreaking, essentially, there's not much meat on the bone here. In fact, this movie exists simply to further push the boundary of visual effects, because the story itself is essentially a retread of the major beats from the first Avatar, and it is so on the nose at times that it's actually laughable. Like, it was straight up silly to me in the first 20 or 30 minutes of this movie, the way they explained, you know, how certain characters were in the film and their logic for why this movie exists. It was really poorly done. Honestly, lazy, in my opinion. It was almost like they pitched the movie and they were like, hey, let's think of some really visually stunning moments and then try to fill in the gaps with the plot that we've already done. Basically, like, they chopped up the plot of the first Avatar and said, here, we're gonna scatter this throughout this movie. And the part that frustrated me, arguably the most, is how they took the only somewhat compelling characters from the first Avatar, and Jake Sully, and all these other characters who we sort of knew from the first, and they put them right in the back seat. And we got a bunch of new characters that were in the forefront here. And to me, characters and plot drive a story forward, and those were lacking here yet again, because the handful of characters who, again, we sort of went on a journey with in the first Avatar movie, feel like they don't have much to do here. I mean, there's 40-minute pockets, it feels like, where they're not even on screen, and these younger new characters are at the forefront, and I just didn't care about them as much as I wanted to, especially for a movie that's over 3 hours long. You gotta care about the characters, and for me, I just didn't. And I'm not gonna dive too much into the plot for the sake of spoilers, but there's direct parallels to a military presence and resources on Pandora being taken and all these different things. They're compiled together to try and present like a new, fresh plot, but it comes off as legitimately a rehash of the first movie. It's like the same movie in a different font with better CGI. And again, I'm not taking anything away from the visual effects here, because there's no denying how truly impressive it is. But this movie just exists to show off how cool the visual effects technology is. There's nothing groundbreaking from a story perspective or characters, and I can't throw that away when I watch a movie. I have to be compelled in some way and feel some type of genuine emotion from my characters, from the plot, and that just was not existent here to me. The movie's sole purpose was to show off how cool the technology was, and to be honest with you, it's almost like James Cameron said, hey, I don't need to tell a story here because you guys just want to see the visuals. It's like, cool, but I want to see a story too. I actually found myself chuckling at the fact that they included a line from the first movie, and it was like, this is just like, this is bad. Again, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't immersed into the world, but that's not enough for me. Like, the movie's 3 hours and 12 minutes, and I was fidgeting near the end of this thing, just ready for it to be over. It had overextended its stay. There's damn near 20-minute sequences of just straight up someone swimming in the water. Some people love that, and that's great. I'm not taking that away from anybody. But to me, that doesn't do much for me. This movie will get nominated for every technical category, and rightfully so. But as someone who doesn't even really like the first Avatar all that much, I much prefer that first movie, and watching this makes me appreciate the first Avatar even more from a story perspective, because I thought the story of the first Avatar was bare bones and something we'd seen, you know, done 1,000 times. I would take the story of the first Avatar 10 times over the story of The Way of Water, because at least it felt like our characters had an arc there and a purpose, had an emotional journey, and there was a payoff at the end of that movie. Here, there was almost an introduction of so many characters, and the ones that I actually cared about from the first movie took such a big leap back that, again, really hard for me to latch onto anyone. And I'm just gonna be blunt here, because I always want to be honest in these reviews. I don't want to sit here and lie lie to you. There were just a lot of cringe moments too. There's a new human character who just didn't do it for me, and I cannot believe the fact that they brought back a certain character from the first Avatar for a pivotal role. It actually blows my mind how just stupid it was that this certain character played a pivotal role in this movie. As the credits rolled though, the song by The Weeknd was pretty solid, but man was I ready to be out of that theater by the time the credits rolled, because to me, visual effects alone are not enough to make a great movie, and I'm not going to give this a hall pass and say, oh my gosh, you just got to go for the experience, for the visuals. I can't justify that. I want to go to a movie to feel moved emotionally from the characters and the journey they go on and the story. Just being in this world is not enough for me. Pandora is wonderful. The attention to detail is so vivid. It's something to behold on the big screen, but that's not enough for me to sit here and say this is one of the greatest movies of all time, one of the greatest sequels of all time, because it's just not. So if you don't like the first Avatar because you think it's visuals over story, that's literally the same exact case in this new one. But this movie is still going to receive massive amounts of praise for the visual effects alone, when I rarely see anyone compliment any other aspects, and that's totally fine, but to me, I cannot do that in good conscience. If I ever get the Avatar bug and feel like, oh, I want to revisit the movies, I'll just spare myself the time and look up a compilation of all the gorgeous shots on YouTube from both the movies, because I don't give a damn about any of the characters in these movies still. I just think it's laughable how blatant it is that this is just a copy and paste of the first movie. I'm honestly just like, I can't, I think I'm throwing in the towel. I don't think I can sit through another Avatar movie. I mean, 3 hours and 12 minutes, God almighty, it was so long. I could feel that runtime, and I'm done. I've had enough. But my favorite moment in the movie, by far, no spoilers, there's always a bigger fish. If you know, you know. But those are just my honest thoughts on Avatar: The Way of Water. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you guys. That's how I feel about the movie. So yeah, what do you guys think of Avatar: The Way of Water? Let me know in the comments down below, and be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to be notified for all of my future reviews, reactions, rankings, and all that good stuff. But thank you guys for watching, and until next time, I'll see you guys later. Talking about water sure does make me thirsty though.